Why did the king go to the dentist? To get his crown fixed. What's going on, YouTube? Today I have a very exciting yet short but super jam-packed video for you, and that is because our Q4 update has now been released on what exactly its title is, and there are some tantalizing updates that are going to be involved in the Q4 update that I think are actually going to kind of change ESO for forever. Don't worry, I won't blue ball you, and the video will be a little shorter, so you'll be able to get to that in just 1 second, but we are so close to 15,000 subscribers. If you would not mind just to hit the subscribe button, I promise I'll get right into it, and I'll see you there. So for those of you who may not have seen it, ESO Dev accidentally reveals upcoming Endless Archive dungeon. Now, the title makes it seem like we know a whole lot, and truthfully, we don't know a crazy amount at this time, except that it's going to be an endless dungeon, and it'll be released in Q4. But there's one little itsy-weetsy little thing that I wanted to highlight for you. So this came up during the ESO Tavern event, which occurred in Germany, which is basically like the Las Vegas event, but in Germany, because in Germany versus Vegas. But they also revealed that there's going to be new sets added to the game, as well as class-specific sets. And I am actually very excited for this. And it might not seem extra clear as to why I'm so excited for this, because a lot of people might just think, well, it seems pretty minimalistic, that might seem very restrictive, but it adds a new layer to ESO, and it adds also a new way for them to balance classes. Because for those of you who've been playing for a while, you'll notice that sometimes classes go from S tier to F tier, or A tier to C tier, C tier to A tier. There's no consistent all of the classes are good, because they're constantly in this struggle of adding new sets to the game and then having to then balance previously adjusted abilities, adding new classes to the game, having to adjust for old classes to be able to compete with power creep or whatnot, all sorts of things. So by having stuff and bonuses that could either be tied to skills like arena weapons, or by having them tied to just sorcerers, nightblades, templars, etc., in general, they have a new way to potentially balance both PvP and PvE aspects, which I think this game has been sorely missing. And I know that it might seem restrictive on its surface, and I just want to hit this point home here because I'm actually a huge fan of this idea. It will give them the tools they need to help create more of a equilibrium amongst classes, and especially if they're tied to specific skills. Similar to how arena weapons, for example, might be tied to, you can see here, this one is tied to hidden blades. They now have the ability to attach them to classes, which is huge. Now, I don't want people to think that they might be in this situation necessarily where they're grinding sets that they now can't use because they have to go on different classes or whatever. But what I think might be a really interesting kind of change to that, though, is that now you have the ability to essentially have a set that could affect each class differently. So, for example, you could be in a situation where if a necromancer wears it, they get this passive or this buff. If a sorcerer wears this set, they get this buff. Or it could be one of those where if you use a sorcerer in the this archive, then you only get sorcerer sets. I absolutely love this idea, and I know that you guys could probably get that impression. I think that they'll probably go towards the latter idea, although I do think the former would be more popular with the fan base, because then you don't have to grind multiple sets out. Essentially, it would just be hey, grind out set A, and then set A gives this buff to one class, this buff to another class, and this buff to another class. Or it could change, different abilities on those different things as well. I think they'll probably go more on the buff end, but I could really see them getting crazy with it and going more on the ladder and actually changing full-blown skills, which could be pretty wacky. Because imagine sorcerers being able to get additional bonuses and things that could be pretty helpful for set building, especially as things like the Arcanist come out, which really, in my opinion, kind of devalued classes like sorcerers who have high mobility. The changes to vampire, for example, really knocked down sorcerers, a whole bunch, in my opinion. So this is a really nice tool, in my opinion, for them to be able to go out and actually compete again. Because I have been playing basically a C to F tier class in PvP and PvE for over a year plus now, and I have been sorely hoping that there would be some sort of update to fix it. Now, the actual changes in Q3 to some of these sorcerer's abilities, I think, are actually going to be pretty massive. And also, if you take a shot every time I say the words "in my opinion" or "I think," you will die of alcohol poisoning. So I apologize, but sometimes you just have to let your full-blown, unfiltered thoughts ring true. Except if you're working, then you're not supposed to swear. They discourage you guys from doing that, unfortunately. But I hope that you guys are excited about this as I am. And also, too, if you guys have specific opinions on things, put them in the comments below. Put them on the forums. Which would you prefer? A set that's specific to sorcerers, almost like Diablo, or like a set that would affect each class differently? Or would you prefer it if you farm the actual dungeon on one class, you get one class, specific sets, farm it on another, you get other, or would you like to mix and match? That way, if you have a really good Dragon Knight, you don't have to level up an Arcanist to get the Arcanist gear. What is your guys' preference? I am curious to hear what you guys think in the comments below, because this is one of those things where, yes, we've got the dungeon release, but realistically, now you're able to get something completely different, which was this. All we really know about the actual dungeon itself is that it's never ending in theory, but it does have a canonical end. So it'll be really cool for scoreboards and stuff. But now I'm just excited about the rewards. It seems like they have put a lot of effort into those rewards. I'm excited. Hope you guys are as well. And put your thoughts in the comments below. We are doing our 3 giveaway drawings. 1 random comment, 1 random subscriber, and then a word will be flashed upon the screen through the month of July. The first person to comment that word will win. And hope to see you guys later. I'll see you then. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.
Alright, so post-outro Jake here. I'm actually just curious what movie in theaters you guys are more excited to see. Are you guys more excited to see Oppenheimer or the Barbie movie? Put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.